coming, thank you to all the spouses, grandparents, aunts and uncles, neighbors, whoever it was who stayed home with their kids. Thank them for us. We appreciate the fact that they stepped up so that you could step up and come to the meeting. So just to let everybody know, not that unless you come rush the stage, we're just recording this, so we're going to try to put these on our YouTube page so that folks can see them if they can't attend, because we know not everybody has the ability to come at 7 o'clock on a Thursday night. People have other things going on, so we appreciate that. So the first thing I want to do is just to introduce myself. My name is Steve Van Tassel. I'm the PTA president. I have one son, Shane. He's in 2nd grade. He's in Spanish immersion with Senora Sanchez and Ms. Smith. And so just because, how long has it been since we've had one of these meetings? Like 18 months or something? It's been a while. So I'm just hoping we could all go around and just introduce ourselves, because part of the idea of PTA and just doing these things is just building a sense of community, knowing who people are and stuff, so that you know who's walking by you, or if you're passing through, who's crossing by the crosswalk, or who's standing next to you at the kiss and ride if you're picking up your kids, or all those good things. It's just nice to be able to put names to faces, since I've probably met some of you, but kind of hard with this on, and it's it's a little difficult over Zoom to remember people's names and stuff like that. So I'll start. As I said, I'm Steve Van Tassel. I'm the PTA president. My son Shane is in 2nd grade. He's in Spanish immersion, and so I'll have the folks. Again, Mr. Swager introduce himself in case you don't know who he is.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim Swager. I'm the principal here at Groveton. I've officially this year, I think I've been at Groveton now 10 years. So I was the assistant principal here before, so just, what is it, 7 years as the principal now. And I'm glad to be doing things in person again myself. I know it was a really rough time to do all the virtual learning. Thank you for sticking with us, but we're glad to be back in person.
Hi, my name is George Newberry. I'm the treasurer at the PTA. I was treasurer last year too when we were virtual, and stay on again for this year. I have 2 kids in 3rd grade and 1st grade, and I live on Groveton Street. And we're always outside, so if you see me, feel free to honk, say hi. All right?
Hello, my name is Anna Bennett. I'm the PTA secretary this year. I've been at Groveton 7 years since he began. And so I have 3 daughters here, 6th grader, 5th grader, and 3rd grader.
Wow.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jasmine Vargas. It's my first year in the PTA Association. I have graduated from the 2-way immersion program. We already graduated in 2020. And I also have a 2nd grade in the 2-way immersion program now. And now I have a new kindergarten and grandchild too. So I'm a Groveton Tiger mommy. I've been here for so many years since 2015. I love the school. And it's my first time that I have the opportunity to learn how to help better through the association. So I'm also here to help all the Spanish community, helping with the Spanish translation and everything that they can need. And so that's part of my job here. Thank you so much.
Does anybody need Justin to translate anything in Spanish? If you
Does
just
anybody
let us
need help
know.
in Spanish? ¿Ayuda con el español alguno? No? Okay. Today is only English.
You want to-
Sure. My name is Erica Warner. I have 2 kids here. One in grade and Shane 5.
Oh, okay, yes. Yes.
In kindergarten version. My child did want me to come here and apologize to everybody for pulling the fire alarm today. Yeah, I figured it was the best time to do it. It was like the first month of his academic career. Got that curiosity out of the way. He apologizes.
At least it wasn't raining. It's on his permanent record, it's not a problem.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know who did it. Miss Robin said, it was an accident, and from that point on, I was just dealing with the fire department.
His hair was on his face, and he just looked at it. And
It was so tempted.
he's short in this.
Okay.
He didn't do it again, I
So good start. start.
All right, I'm Shannon Payne. I have two kids. I have Andrew who's in sixth grade with Ms. Mantelli and Mr. Green, and then I have Hunter who is in fourth grade with Ms. Matthews. And I guess I can just go ahead and say I'll be guest speaking tonight on a topic I think that we're all very concerned about.
Yes.
I'm Phyllis America, and I have a grandson, Mason, who's in fifth grade, and Mr. Collins and Mr. Wilson.
And Shannon and Phyllis have been, folks may recognize them, they've been standing counting how many people cross Groveton Street and Harrison Lane, and Shannon will be talking about that a little bit later on.
I was the one flailing my arms at a lot of times.
Hi, I'm Sonata Haley. My daughter is Ireland. She's in Miss Stevens kindergarten class.
Welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Johnson. My daughter is Adeline Johnson. She's in kindergarten. She's also in the Spanish learning program as well. And she's loving it. And it makes me feel so good.
Hello, my name is Andres Colas. I have a son, Stavros Colas, who goes in third grade with Ms. Pamela Johnson's class. And I graduated from Groveton Elementary in 1976.
Wow.
I'm Lexi. I have a first grader. His name is Kamari. We actually just moved here from Texas, and we'll be popping back out of here in a few months to go to Germany. So, just real quick, Air Force. Yeah, you guys will see me waving my arms all day in the cars. Like, I know you see me.
Welcome for just a short time. We appreciate you coming by. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Barry Calenti. I have a sixth grader, Gabriel, in Spanish immersion, and a Groveton graduate who went through the first immersion class. Hi, I'm Vanessa Moriarty. Hi, Steve. Our sons are in the same soccer team. Steve's also Coach Steve. I'm Keenan Moriarty's mom. He's in second grade now. And he's loving Mrs. Smith, who apparently had a good weekend because Penn State won, so pretty awesome.
Hi, I'm Diane Kramer. I have a sixth grader in Spanish immersion. And I've been doing PTA for 7 years now. So this is our last one. It's weird. It's quite good.
Hi, I'm Liz Lovner. I have two sons at Groveton, one in Spanish immersion kindergarten and one in second grade in Miss Smith's class. Logan.
Hi, I'm Megan Armenti. I have one son in third grade in Miss Johnson's class.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Turk. I have a daughter in fourth grade in Miss Locke's class.
Hi, I'm Larissa Counts. I have a son, Simon, who is in kindergarten in Spanish immersion and Mrs. Carter's senior class.
I'm Sarah Maver, and I have a third grader and a kindergartner.
Great. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We appreciate that. And thank you for introducing yourself. I just think it's important because, you know, we've been away for a while, and a lot of us don't know each other. We might know, you know, somewhat of people because, like, oh, look, your son's in my daughter's class and all that stuff. But, you know, the kids know each other, but we have no idea who each other are. So it's nice to put some names to eyes and face covering. So next thing I want to talk about is just a little bit about what the PTA does. And you know, obviously we try to do things to help support the Mr. Slaughter and the administration and the staff and the teachers here. But also, you know, we try to do some events so we can have some fun. The last year was kind of hard to do that, but hopefully we can do some things this year, at least outdoors and masked up and everything like that. And hopefully later on, as kids get vaccinated, we can start doing more things. You know, so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hopefully bring together like parents, teachers, and staff, and everybody, so that we can have some kind of sense of community. I know it's hard at times because, you know, some of us live on that side of the school, some of us live on that side of the school, some of us down there. But, you know, we all kind of live close enough that we should at least know each other if we're running into each other in the grocery store, or, you know, picking something up, or, you know, wherever. So it's just nice to know people and have a sense of community. And we can do fun things together because you know, we kind of all have a common interest. We all have kind of little kids, you know. Some are bigger with sixth graders and some are littler with kindergartners, but roughly we all got kids around the same age. So, so thank you all for coming out. Hopefully we'll be able to do some events if we can, you know, rally some troops together and people to do things. And we also do some fundraisers. You may have, we did a Toppers fundraiser in August. They're one of our biggest supporters, and we're going to try to keep doing those fundraisers so that we can raise money to do things for school. Last year we did stuff like we had they had a book fair, and we donated some books to kids who may not be able to to buy a book have their parents or family buy a book for them on their own. You know, we did a couple of teacher grants for things that folks needed at the school or wanted at the school, but the school just didn't have the money to pay for it. And so, you know, and Mr. Sorgo will talk about this later, but we're going to have an electronic sign out in the front, so instead of the same static message, it'll be messages so that people can see as they're going past, and it'll be in different languages, so to kind of help the community, because I can't imagine being here, not speaking the language and having some, you know, and not being able to see what's going on. It'd be nice, you know, if I spoke Farsi or some other language that, you know, some folks here speak, if I saw a message out there that told me what was going on at the school in my language. So hopefully we can do that and help inform some of the folks here. Okay, so now we're going to do the boring stuff, unfortunately. We have to approve the June 2020 meeting minutes. So for that, I'm going to turn that over to Anna.
Okay, so on 6 of the tables that y'all are sitting at, I put out the copy of the meeting minutes from June.
If anybody wants to see them, I'm sure we can pass them around.
Yeah. If someone has already seen them, you can pass them to somebody else that I haven't seen them. If you could just take a quick minute to look over the minutes, and then we'll call them.
Yeah. And there, just to let everybody know, if you're interested, if you want to see more than just a glance at them, all of the meeting minutes from the past year's meetings are on our website, which is grovetonpta.org. .org is very important. And there's a section called meeting minutes, and we try to do the website so we have some stuff up there, including hopefully taping this meeting and everything like that. But does anybody have any questions for Anna or myself about the meeting minutes? Everybody in favor of approving the meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Anna. Okay, next I'm going to turn it over to George Newberry, who's our treasurer. He's got the 2021 budget and his treasurer report. Thanks, George.
So we have 3 items on, we have the budget, which is how we kind of plan on spending the money, at least theoretically spending the money. And then the monthly treasurer's report, and lastly the audit. So on some of these central tables, I put copies of the budget, and on the back side is the report. Just one copy. And we'll print it out. Formulas. You can look through the budget. It's kind of based on, you know, previous year's budgets, high-level events, Blizzard Bingo. Does anybody else want to come? And you got, there's administrative costs. We'll always work there for the top. So projected income, cash. This is like, you know, people donating money. When you pay your dues, $5 dues, you can also donate money. So we do have donations from time to time. And you can see the second column there is kind of proposed for this year. The first one is just for reference for kind of about what it was last year. So a target membership goal of 125 members. That's $1 due per member. And then for fundraisers, Amazon Smile. I buy through Amazon. I imagine a lot of us buy through Amazon. If you buy through smile.amazon.com and mark Groveton PTA as your charity, then we get a little bit of a kickback, and that adds up. I think the last one was $96 or so for the last quarter. So
Yep.
300 is a reasonable estimate for this year.
So is this at checkout? When you check out of Amazon, you'll find that, or is it a different site?
You have to place the order through the smile.amazon.com specifically, and you have to select the supporting charity as Groveton PTA.
I'd be happy to walk. I can bring up a laptop and we can buy something. I'll just go buy something. It's really simple. Even if you already have the Amazon website up and you just change it to Smile, and you'll go as long as you have our Groveton PTA set up as the charity. You can just search for the charity. And you can set it up on your phone too.
Yeah.
It's a slightly different, but through your app on your phone.
And I think we posted stuff on Facebook about how to do it before, so if you're on the Facebook group, we can send out a post about how to do that, because I'm sure there's a lot of new people, and if you buy stuff from Amazon, we might as well get a little bit of money. Thank you.
Blizzard Bingo, I'm not putting like total expenses versus total income on these. This is just kind of net income for a fundraiser projected. So Blizzard Bingo in years past had a $4,000 budget as a fundraiser, so that's what I put down. TBD this year, with different requirements due to COVID. So, box tops for education, it's a sort of a placeholder right there. We didn't pump this much last year. It is a way for us to raise money. We would need someone to kind of take charge on that to get more income for them. Concessions, this is sort of if you sell stuff, popcorn, drinks, things like that during in-person events. Again, sort of a small placeholder. Fall Festival, $2 grand, same as the previous year's, or 2 years ago budget. Restaurants, last year we did pretty well with restaurant fundraisers. It was about 2,600 total. And we're trying to do them 1 or 2 a month. If we do 1 or 2 a month, then we all support them really well, get the word out, not just to the Groveton community, right, but to the other, friends and neighbors and everybody like that. We should be able to have a good amount of income from the restaurants. Safeway Foundation, Steve was working with Safeway down in Bellevue.
This is on Bellevue, the one down in Bellevue, we posted a lot about it, and for the month of August, when you checked out, it always said you want to support our schools, and that, supporting our schools actually meant supporting the Groveton PTA, and so I'm not sure how much we're gonna get from it, we put 500 in because the estimate from the Safeway folks was 500 was the low, so we probably take the low and be pleasantly surprised if we got more.
Spiritware, there's no income really for that yet. We would need help organizing that, right? That's not like t-shirts that say Groveton or yard signs, things like that. We probably make a little bit of money off of that. I wouldn't expect it to be, thousands of dollars. Now we get into expenses. Administrative costs, this is some of the overhead for running the PTA, printing out flyers, we have to do large Zoom meetings, or if we have to go back to, large Zoom meetings, posters, things like that. Dues processing fees, right? So remember that $5 that you pay for dues. Of that, $4 goes to Fairfax County, the state, and national PTA. Of that, $1 comes to us. From that $1, if you pay your PayPal, there's a little transaction fee. If you pay your family and friends, it's less. But when we go to pay the Fairfax County and state dues, there's a slight fee to pay those digitally. I can send in a check, right? But last year it was just much easier to do it digitally, so that's what that placeholder there is for paying those. Insurance, PTAs are kind of required to have insurance to cover if we do something wrong. PayPal fees, again, kind of the administrative transaction costs. Supplies, small things, whether it's managing the closet or getting little things for events, or administrative supplies for us. The website, last year we paid for the GrovetonPTA.org website. It's through Google domains. We paid for it for 10 years, so it was $120. It seemed like a pretty good deal. So we just did it, and so now we don't have to pay for a website for the next 9 years. Now we get to events. Now these are all fairly small. Events that, and the idea of the event versus a fundraiser is an event is something that kind of brings us together. It's not really meant to make money, but it's like an activity. Earth Day, we did this last year, is a cleanup effort. So it's paying for cleaning supplies, little snacks. Holly Jolly Sing-Along was some gift cards for the Holly Jolly Sing-Along.
For students, it was an effort to try to get the students to participate and watch their fellow students perform. Because usually, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Slaughter, but usually it's an assembly and they're all there. But this last year, since it was a Zoom, it was harder to get kids to do it. So we kind of incentivized them.
International Night, we didn't do one last year, but we're going to hopefully do one this year.
It's an in-person event,
So that's food from around the world, and
yes, hopefully we're going to do that next. And folks can bring some food, show their culture, where they're from. Where they're from. Like Jasmine's from Costa Rica. I don't know if anybody else is from somewhere else, but you could, show your pride, your heritage, and sort of, help other people understand. Because, I mean, we have a lot of people from a lot of different places, and it's always nice to understand sort of those things, and,
all the diversity we have, yes.
Sense of community. So hopefully we'll be able to do that since it's a very in-person event.
Yeah.
School assemblies, last year we paid for math science.
Yes.
And we put in $750 in for the idea of maybe sponsoring some more school assemblies, where they bring in a vendor and all the kids enjoy being out of class. Science fair is a placeholder. We thought a science fair would be a good idea. It's going to take someone to organize it. And with all these are going to take all these things take people to organize. But in a science fair, if someone wants to step up, organize it, and a board member can help shepherd kind of the event, then it'll get it done. Seasonal school cleanup. We'd like to, the Earth Days in spring would be nice for every couple months though to get us together and help clean up the school grounds. Pick up trash, cut down the stuff that has been growing for the last 2 or 3 years. Just kind of make the school physically, the external grounds of the school nice. Spelling bee, similar to science fair. If we want to do it, we got a little placeholder for it. Just organize spelling bee, same thing with the talent show. Grants. So the events again, that category is meant to be something that we just do, costs a little bit of money, it's a lot of fun. The grants is more like we want to give money to specific project, specific teacher, a specific thing that isn't necessarily we're going to get something back. So academic enrichment, last year we gave 2 or 3 teacher grants out. That $5,000 is, I've been told we never really met that much. We never really got that many people to ask for money from us. So if we want to get more teachers to use the funds that the PTA raises, we need to get more word out to the teachers and interface with them more. So that academic enrichment rate could be for an individual teacher to learn something. It could be for them to buy something to help their class out. It's case-by-case basis. Back to school spirit. It's for that sign that was out front, and any other. It's actually a placeholder for future years to try to let's decorate the school or do something right when the school starts so that people are excited. Book fair. PTA last year made a donation. In most years it's made a donation, but it's never been a line item. So we put it in this year as a line item for Mr. Devonis or whoever the librarian is to buy books. School. Capital improvements, other. This is an idea of let's maybe buy some more physical things for the school, whether it's more outdoor seating, an outdoor water fountain. It would take someone to work with Mr. Swager and the administration on identifying capital things that the PTA could contribute to make the school better. The sign placeholder, right? Because we never paid bill last year. Staff appreciation. This is thanking teachers for things. There's T-shirts last year. Sometimes it's food. And then yearbook. I don't think we did anything with the yearbook last year, but historically the PTA has contributed to the yearbook funds. So that kind of goes through all the budget. Are there any questions on this? I know I went through pretty fast. You're always welcome to come up afterwards, or send us an email and say, hey, I was thinking about this. Can we get that in the budget? This is us working together, not just the executive committee saying this is what we're going to do.
Well, we have to vote on it. It is a living document, so we can add things to it. We can take things out. We can add things to it so people have ideas, and it's something everybody wants to do. And we get support. We can definitely fund things. So, like you said, it's not static. If we don't vote on it tonight, it doesn't mean we can't do it. We just have to add it and vote on it again.
So all that sums up, because Google Sheets and everything is really nice at doing the math, to our starting cash balance of around just under 28 grand, and then ending cash balance around just under 10. And that bulk of that is the school sign. Some of it is spending down reserves that's just been generated over the years that hasn't been spent. So before we go on to the other 2 documents, are there any questions? Going once, going twice? Can we please vote on it?
Sure. Everybody, all who are in favor of the budget as proposed by George, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. Thank you for approving. We appreciate it.
Now we'll turn over the page, the monthly treasurer.
Yes.
So this is for July through yesterday. I was trying to, had an issue with Google Sheets printing not the information that it was showing on the screen. There really wasn't many transactions over the last couple, 2.5 months. It's mostly just dues, an Amazon Smile donation, or a receipt, $95, and we paid one insurance bill, $405, and just the PayPal fees for those items here, those donations that came into PayPal. There was and then the bottom half. This is just kind of summarizing how much money we have, in the bank. Some PTAs will treat the dues, local, state, and national dues as an expense. I'm treating them as a liability. It's kind of the accounting nerd in me. So those are listed at the bottom based on the total number of members who had paid as a guest. And the insurance check does. So, I'm going to vote on it. Are there any questions on the monthly budget?
Yeah. I don't think so. There are many changes.
Well, yeah, there's no changes to the budget items at all, but are there any questions regarding?
Yeah, maybe answer any questions, feel free, or if you don't want to talk, ask out loud here, you can talk to George afterwards, no problem. We're here to help.
And my email, you'll see it by other places too, is treasurer@grovetonpta@gmail.com. All right, the last kind of financial item to talk about, and I didn't print out many of these because there are 9 pages.
So these are required things, unfortunately, sorry.
Sorry for boring.
To be honest.
So there's 5 of these kind of in some of the essential tables. You're welcome to look them up afterwards. It's the financial review for last year's books. So basically, I get all the books together, all the receipts, all the reimbursement forms, all the paperwork together, and hand it over to a budget financial review committee made up of volunteers. And they look over all the books and they say, they say financial records for this PTA are complete. So it's here for your review. If you want it, I can send you a digital copy too if you'd like to see it.
And we probably will post that on the PTA website as well, so if anybody wants to look at it afterwards.
So I'd be happy, this is kind of a long document, and I'll give you the adjustment on it later. It's 5 pages floating around. I don't think we need to adopt it.
No, I think we just have to present it. Thank you, George, I appreciate it. So, next is George again. We're gonna, sorry, you wanted to talk about, there's some folks, people are getting EBT cards.
Right,
And
so-
George wanted to talk a little bit about that and explain.
Just maybe a show of hands, how many people know what the EBT program, if I use the acronym EBT, are you familiar with it? Okay. And of those, how many have gotten a card? And how many have used it? Okay. So, starting last year, maybe like spring, early spring, we got pandemic EBT cards, right? So because we're a Title I school, and every student here gets free or reduced lunch, my understanding is we all got signed up for the pandemic EBT benefit. So this is money that can be used to buy groceries, right? We all eat. At first, it's a little card in the mail. If you didn't know anything about it, you probably put it in and just filed it away, maybe threw it out. Well, money has been put on that card for you to spend. Like, I have 2 kids, and probably in total is around $2,000, maybe $2,500. So it's a good amount of money. And I don't think we did I don't think PTA I think we could have done a much better job in getting the word out to let families know that there is free extra money too for food. You could also, if you took it to farmers markets. Yeah.
Sorry, everyone got it. Right.
That was my understanding. I mean, I have 2 kids that go here, but I'm not in the income bracket to qualify for free or reduced lunch, right? So I would think everybody would get I would expect if you already had an EBT card, right, if you were already qualified for that, it might have been added onto your existing card. That's starting to get into that Virginia State bureaucracy that I honestly haven't researched enough about. But it was like $120 or $130 a month per child.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as far as I
I
know,
just
they are
printed out
using the
flyers,
database of all the kids that used to have free lunch or reduced lunch prices. For the data 2019 is probably what they're using. because even some parents are receiving money for kids that are already out of the Fairfax County already, but they're still receiving that.
Yeah.
So it's possible, normally arrive by mail, so I don't know if somebody can double check that, but there's also a website where the people still can enroll. And if at any moment they have it, a free reduced lunch or something, it's very possible that you're already in the list. But some people also can apply for first time, but of course they have to follow the process of income and stuff like that. But we can maybe post a link or something if people are still interested in apply for it.
Yeah, like if you have a kindergartner this year, you might not have been in the system, right? You got a I have a first grader, and so I definitely know they got it last year. So I printed out a flyer, right? I didn't have any slides ready. It has the website. It's, I'm gonna write it down. It's www.pebtva.com. There was an extra summer benefit, so you might find information on that. But I'd be happy to help you try to figure out the system if you need help.
And we can post about this on Facebook as well and put it on the website as well, I mean, so.
Yeah, we posted it on Facebook once or twice last year. And if you go to the local farmers markets, you can get $20 of it doubled. So you get these tokens. My wife does it all the time. She's pretty frugal. Edit that part out. But you get 40. If you say I want $20 in tokens with your EBT card, you get $40 to spend at the farmers markets.
This is shown us at Sherwood Hall.
Sherwood Hall, Alexandria. It's any of the kind of the more state-run ones. I don't think it's at West End. So.
Thanks,
Is
George.
there? All right, am I gonna come back up after you?
No, we're done. I should have broken it up, but I didn't. As folks probably know, we've got some tables outside, which George has been very instrumental, and his wife Tabitha have been very instrumental in setting up and organizing. So we just wanted to give a short update about that, in case folks want to know a little bit more about it. There've been some communications from the school as well as on Facebook and on the website and everything like that. So Anna, who has been volunteering for that as well, is going to update us on what's going on with the school with the outdoor lunch.
Right. Okay, so if you've been around this side of the building, maybe if you've done kiss and ride or whatever, you've noticed some picnic
table.
Some picnic tables sitting out there. About 6 or 7 of them were donated from Virginia Hills Pool, which we can use until they open the pool in May, so that's great. And then 4 of them were built and crafted and hauled onto the site. People have been donating some canopies, and this is all to give people, the students here, the opportunity to take their mask off in a more safe, I guess, environment, get further apart from people, prevent overcrowding in the lunchroom. If you can imagine this, all full of students, and they've taken the mask off to eat for the 5 or 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes the full half hour, because my child eats slow. Anyway, the outdoor option is a wonderful option. So the students have been rotating through. They've tried to figure out a schedule of which teacher will go on which day to go take their class outside. We have the seating capacity for about 3 classes at a time. But the thing is that we don't have the staff at the school to monitor it, to keep it clean and make sure they do obey the mask rule and put the mask on when they're done eating, make sure they actually throw away all the trash and don't get into fights and sit down and that kind of thing. So volunteers from the PTA have been coming every single day to set up the tents, to give them shade, to monitor them while they're eating, and then to just hang around with them and talk to them, socialize, whatever, say hi. I give my kids hugs because I can't, I'm a parent. Anyway, but it's a lot of fun, I think, for a chore job, but you really have to be here during the middle of the day. It's hard for a lot of parents. So if you want to sign up, we have the Sign Up Genius link that Tabitha set up online. It has an hour shift from like 15-minute setup from 10:30 to 10:45 every morning of the week. If you want to just come and help set up the tents, that's great. If you want to stick around, it's an hour shift from 10:45 to 11:45, and then another one next hour, and another one the last hour of lunch till 1:45 p.m. So if you can use your hour off of work, if you're working from home, and come in and volunteer, coordinate it, and sign up, that'd be great. You have to check in with the main office. We'll tell you how, and get you out there and lead you through the process. But we'd love to see more people so that it's not the same faces every week, same burden people. Okay. Any
You
questions?
get to know the kids.
You do, you really do. And you get to call them on their behavior
Yeah.
too, like a mom. All right, any questions for me about outdoor? Everybody got it?
Staff, they gave me some flyers, so.
Oh, thanks.
I took some out, but I'll just leave them on the back and grab it. It just says basically what Anna just said, along with the.
Yeah, and I mean, the more volunteers we get, if folks can do it, or if you can, if you know somebody else who could, you can tell them about it. You know, bottom line, it sounds like, I think the more people, the more volunteers we have, the more kids who can eat outside. So, you know, if you want your kids to eat outside, you know, it'd be nice if you can help out, right? You understand that some folks work and have other obligations and just can't do it. It's not, it's something that we can do to kind of help the school and small, even just an hour a week. So, okay, thank you, Anna, very much, and thank you to George and Tabitha who've been doing a lot of work on that. We appreciate it. Next, folks probably know if you go on down Harrison Lane on Groveton Street, that we have a crosswalk, so we don't have anybody to actually help children cross the street. And sort of the issue came to a head on about the second or third day of school, where there were some issues there, and I know the school's been trying for years to get a full crossing guard, but we've kind of doubled down our efforts this year, and Shannon Payne, who's been doing a lot of work on this, is going to give a discussion and kind of recap what we've been doing. Do you have something, Mrs. Slaughter?
No, it was the first day of school.
The first day. I remember what day it was.
And I'll talk a little bit more about what part of that issue later.
And Mr. Swagger will be correcting everything we talked about at the end.
Just adding context.
That's right. So, Shannon, thank you. And Shannon's sitting next to Phyllis, America. Phyllis has been helping out Shannon as well, so I wanted to recognize her and thank her for her help too.
All right, so again, I'm Shannon. I have the 6th and the 4th grader. 6th grader is about here tall as me, so if you see him, say hi. So I'm actually a former student here. There was a crossing guard at one point. There is now obviously it's not. It's been an issue for 10 plus years, and this is the first year where we've actually been able to get further and be able to actually implement a crossing guard there. So it's the second day of school that a parent actually saw a child attempting to cross at a single vehicle stop, so she took measures into her own hands and safely assisted the child so they can get to school. So in the last 24 days since that incident, and I'm counting Monday through Friday, like I said, we have gotten farther than the 10 years previously. Mr. Swagger has also been working very diligently with SCTS School Board. We've talked to Supervisor Lusk of the Lee District area. We've gotten involved with Fairfax County DOT, BDOT, and SCTS School Board, and they're all on board with making the area safer. Supervisor Lusk is actually very much an advocate for pedestrian safety. So over a 2-week time frame, Phyllis and I stood up there and we were counting individuals who were crossing. Originally, we were told that the school board or the county thought it was 13 to 14 kids. That's not accurate. Per my bar graphs here, on average, there's 114 individuals that cross. So where they're getting that number from, obviously, is from 10 years ago. So the school board and the county still have to conduct their own survey after what we have done, so that they can essentially match the data and put the implementations up there that are needed. So Supervisor Lusk is having a meeting. We have the meeting on the 10th.
We met with him, a bunch of folks from PTA had a Zoom meeting with him and his staff on September 10th.
Yes.
And we talked to him about our issues. Shannon did a presentation about her findings and sort of some of the things, other things that she didn't mention, besides the crosswalk,
Down here.
you probably, if you come up Harrison, there's actually a flashing light, a school light. It's hard to see because it's covered by trees and other things until you actually get pretty much right on top of it. So it'd be nice to actually have that so people see that there's a school coming up if they don't know. But yes, we talked to his office about it, and we're trying to push them along to let them know that this is important to us in the community, and as our elected representative, sort of the closest to us in terms of representation, we felt he was the best person to kind of carry this message to us through to other folks. And so basically the idea is that while Mr. Swagger works sort of like the inside folks, like the school board member, the bureaucracy, that's CPS and stuff like that, we can kind of work on the elected officials and other folks who can help make this decision. And so together, hopefully, we can get somebody out there, like, there was a police officer one day.
Yeah, the very first day that we were up there.
Yeah, and so hopefully we can get somebody there every day, like they do at High Valley and other schools, so. Go ahead, Shannon, sorry.
No, you're fine. So from that follow-up meeting that we had on the 10th, they went ahead and met with other people, and they do have a follow-up meeting on the 14th of October, which includes Mr. Swager, so I'm very thankful that he can join, and that it's more of an internal meeting. Unfortunately, Steve and the PTA won't be involved in it, but we did request that we get a update afterwards so that we can update families and staff and let them know what's going on. And so we'll obviously update the PTA Facebook page accordingly with the findings and updates and whatnot. Now, speaking of crossing, October 6th, which is a Wednesday, SCPS is participating in International Walk to School Day. It's a great way to get everybody involved. Walking, having parents there, you get involved with nature, you lessen the congestion for all the vehicles, which I know Mr. Swager will eventually talk about here in a little bit maybe. You reduce the pollution, you get to be involved with nature, community, and all of that stuff. So one of the ways that I was personally thinking is that we could have the kids make signs saying, like, you know, Tiger Pride, you know, we'd love to walk, something in that, you know, essence. And maybe also have them wear orange as, you know, Tiger Pride, and hey, look at me, I'm a safety cone, please don't, you know, I'm aware, please just know that I'm here. Steve actually did get in touch with the Mount Vernon Police Commander, and we do have a designated crossing guard or an officer that will be there to be able to assist in crossing that day, which is absolutely phenomenal because that is a big step so that they can all see who is actually crossing. And that includes people coming from Stony Brook, that will be crossing as well. They won't have a crossing guard down there, but it'll definitely be at Groveton and Harrison that day.
Will
Mm-hmm.
this be a morning event?
I'm sorry?
Is this a morning event, do you think, or?
I will double check. I do believe it is solely a morning event because it's a walk to school, but I will confirm that.
That's what it's been in the past.
Yeah. And I was maybe thinking we could convince maybe DJ Swagger to, you know, blast some tunes to get them pumped up for the day while it happens on the school. I don't know.
I'm gonna be walking.
Oh, you're gonna be walking. Okay, awesome. Maybe
I'm
even
gonna go to
putting.
Phyllis America's house for breakfast and then walk.
There you go. Oh, cool. Then I can come too. That's awesome. But I was even thinking maybe putting some signs up at the, that's not the island, but right out front where the sign is, just to say, hey, International Walk to School Day, just for promotion purposes and everything like that. We'll create a Facebook event so that everybody can circle back and go there for questions and
And we're gonna
updates.
invite all the teachers to come to school and then go out in the community and walk with them.
Awesome. That's news to me, so there we go. Awesome.
What day was that?
Wednesday, October 6th.
Wednesday,
We'll
October
follow it
6th.
as best we can. I mean, I learned about it from the news you can use from FCPS. It just buried in the middle of it. So hopefully we can get it to be a bigger event and show that we're a community that does have a lot of kids who walk to school, who do walk to school, and we need the support to make sure that they can walk safely without, you know, so that's kind of the idea. So,
And we'll be sending
anything
that
else,
out
Shannon?
in the school
Well,
newsletter.
thank you for all the work that you've done on the show. We really appreciate
Yes,
it.
thank you, Shannon.
Okay, the last thing that we're gonna talk about before Mr. Swagger presents, some stuff to his report is that we've got a lot of events that we're trying to do this, we're gonna try to do this year. The first thing is coming up, next Wednesday is the El Paso Mexican Restaurant Fundraiser. The El Paso on Route 1 will be doing we'll do a fundraiser there where if you go in, or I assume if you do takeout, they'll donate a percentage of the funds raised to the school. We also, as Shannon mentioned, we have International Walk to School Day, which is the following Wednesday, October 6th. We're gonna have the Fall Festival again. We're gonna do it in person. Unfortunately, I know usually there's, if you've done it before, there's usually some indoor activities. It's probably gonna be just outdoor activities, but that's scheduled for Saturday, November 6th. We're gonna do International Night again. I know Jasmine was talking to Senor Lopez about when he could do it. We'd identified April as the month to do it, but since Senor Lopez does a lot of work on something like this, we're gonna let him pick the date since we need his help on it. And then we've got some toppers fundraisers scheduled. We're gonna try to do them every other month. So we've got October 12th, December 9th, February 15th, and April 14th. And we'll be publicizing those in advance, and toppers is great work. I mean, go in there, you give them a code or tell them you donate to PTA, and then they give us a very large check sometimes at the end of those events. So they've been very supportive. They support the school. They give us free pizza sometimes and other things. They donate to Blizzard Bingo and everything. So, we want to support them at the same time. So we appreciate that. And then I put down other events. Honestly, that's kind of where y'all can come in. If you have ideas for something that you wanted to do, maybe something done at a different school. Yes, Diane?
Do you know if we're gonna do Blizzard Bingo?
Yes.
Or-
We are planning on doing Blizzard Bingo. We haven't identified an exact date or anything like that, but hopefully we'll be able to do that and do it in person. I think we're still a little bit away from being able to confirm to do that, since we don't know what's going on with the COVID and the, vaccinations for kids and everything like that. So, but the hope is that we can have it in person. We did have fun last year doing it online, but I think everybody would much rather be in the gym and enjoying that. So that's just for folks who don't know. That's Blizzard Bingo is generally the school's biggest fundraiser. We do it in February, March time frame, and sort of everybody gets together. We're in the gym and play bingo. We play bingo, and there's lots of prizes. I mean, people have won big screen TVs and Nintendo Switches, and I'm trying to think of some of the other things. I mean,
Topper's Pizza for a year.
Topper's Pizza for a year, I actually won. But I know one of the SAC teachers won a big screen TV last year, 2 years ago. That was my first year doing it. So it's always a lot of fun, and it's, like I said, it's a big fundraiser for the PTA. It's a big community event for the community. So hopefully we can do that in person. That's the goal. Fingers crossed, but knock on wood, we're not going to count on it quite yet. So, but if you have ideas for other events, Shannon.
We were just thinking about, didn't they do a Halloween thing, or a event of some kind over here I remember it was 2 or 3 years ago.
2 years ago, we did the Fall Festival, which used to have a haunted house inside the
Maybe
school.
that's what it was.
And so
Okay.
we're going to do that again. Anna's going to be taking care of that, and we'll need volunteers to help. The part is that usually they did do an indoor haunted house, which probably is probably going to be off limits. So baby steps on that. So hopefully we can do that soon. But if you have other ideas for other events, you can say them now, or if you want to think about it, or send me an email or post it on Facebook or whatever. We want to do things that people want to do, and the only restriction is that we just need people to help execute. Well, we need interest in doing the event. We need help in executing the events as well. And so, if we can find something that we get both of them on, we're happy to do some events. Go ahead, Shannon.
Trunk or treat.
It was part of the fall festival too.
Yeah.
The fall festival had the haunted hallway and trunk or treat.
A
They
trunk
could
or
have been in
treat.
the past. I mean, they could have been in the past.
I don't remember
only have a
that.
couple
The
of
trunk
years
or
of
treat?
experience here, so I'm kind of one of the worst people.
I think 2 years ago it
for certain
rained.
things, so,
So everything was
We had the
inside,
Fall Festival,
but
and
windows
Trunk or Treat was
outside.
kind of the conclusion of the Fall Festival.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the kids would kind of parade from the Fall Festival down
Down that
and
way.
on the side and people would decorate their cars and give out candy.
Got it.
Since we're doing it after Halloween, maybe we can do that, because I'm sure there'll be some folks who might want to get rid of some extra Halloween candy. So we'll see. We'll let, Anna's going to be taking care of that, so I'll let her take care of that.
I will send out the sign up and whatever volunteer form.
Great.
Okay.
But if anybody has any ideas, like we talked about science fairs or spelling bees, or, I mean, other things, if you've had kids do other things at other schools that you think are great ideas and lots of fun, that's what we want to do. We want to do things that are, we don't have to raise money or everything. We can do fun things that don't raise money and just have fun. So ideas are welcome. Let it come and give them to us if you have them. If you don't want to talk out loud, come say it afterwards. So, go ahead,
My
Vanessa.
nephew goes to St. Louis private school right here. They do a 5K run or walk, and a lot of the kids go and do it, and it's a lot of fun. And then they have afterwards little stations, and they got someone with a free truck one time to come and people could go buy food because everyone's hungry after doing a 5K. So that was pretty good. I don't know if that's something we could do, but they did it around Holland Street, right at where St. Louis is. They did it around that road, and they even had some of the neighbors come out and cheer for them, and all the little kids and parents, even grandparents, since you could walk too, came and supported the school and everything. And they got little plastic medals and everything.
Oh.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds, Mr. Swager and I actually talked about that yesterday, about maybe doing a fun run. So that's a great idea. We just have to kind of organize it and find a date that kind of works for folks. So, but thank you very much. Okay, well that's kind
I
of.
didn't see anything on here, I don't know if this is slightly different, but like teacher appreciation type events, or is that something that we would do, or?
We had, Mr. Swager can probably talk better about that because I have very limited experience. We did do like t-shirts for teachers last year, and I know the problem is like last year, really we weren't supposed to bring food in, so that was kind of usually the way we did teacher appreciation, and so that was kind of out last year. But I'm sure Mr. Swager knows a lot more about that because my son was in kindergarten first year 2 years ago, and all that stuff obviously got canceled. So, but we'd love to do teacher appreciation because we want to show them how much we appreciate them. They are working very hard and very long and doing a lot of things this year. So if we have ideas for how to support that, I'm all ears. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Swager, do you want to talk about what's been going on at the school for the last month?
Sure, and I also have some ideas for teacher appreciation. That could be, that we could do some small things, but we could also do a big lunch. This year, we could actually do a luncheon again if we wanted to do that. So. All right, good evening, everybody. So I'm going to start at the beginning with Kiss and Ride. So if you use Kiss and Ride, you know that it has been a lot this year. One of the big reasons that Kiss and Ride was an issue this year is because transportation was lacking bus drivers at the beginning of the year, still are, and decided that they were only going to give transportation to people who filled out a survey that they sent only in English. And lo and behold, nearly 500 Groveton families did not fill out the survey and did not get transportation. So the first days of school, our Kiss and Ride line went all the way around the building to Harrison Lane. So I worked with Dr. King, who is the Region 3 Assistant Superintendent, and she made some calls and spoke really nicely to some people, and we are now able to get transportation for all of those kids. And so they all do have access to a bus now. Unfortunately, not everybody is choosing to do that. So we are going to be sending out in our newsletter this week about Kiss and Ride, some do's and don'ts about Kiss and Ride, and we are going to be recommending again that anybody that can use the bus, please use the bus instead of the Kiss and Ride lane. It can be pretty treacherous, and there have been times when we've had over 200 cars in the Kiss and Ride lane, and we're not equipped for that here. It's one loop right here behind the school. We can put like 4 kids in a car at a time at best, and so that takes a lot of time. I want to say that I really appreciate Mr. Hannerhan and the team that is working at Kiss and Ride, because that is a very thankless job, and they do, Ms. Hart and Mr. Hannerhan and Mrs. Tagliata, they all do such a great job at that. And that continues to be a work in progress. I wanted to speak a little bit about outdoor lunch. I mostly want to say Tabitha has been amazing coordinating things. She gets, George to do all the heavy lifting and bring all the big tables. We're way ahead of the game. I was talking to some other principals, and their kids are basically sitting in the grass to have lunch. And I actually talked to a really good friend of mine who's a principal today out on the other side of the county. I'm not going to name him. And he said they aren't doing it at all. They don't do any outdoor lunch at his school because they just can't. So I would say a huge thanks to George and Tabitha, because without them, we'd be sitting on yoga mats right now. We do need volunteers. We always have to have one Groveton staff member there while the kids are outside, so we do need volunteers to support because we are running 2 cafeterias basically now. This week I was able to get a hose and some other equipment so that we can clean the outdoor cafeteria at least once or twice a week because kids make messes. But the outdoor lunch is going really well. Teachers have been given a survey about the number of kids in their classes that want to eat outside, and that survey information is due tomorrow from all the teachers. And that will give us a better understanding of if we can let, because believe it or not, there are a lot of kids that don't want to eat outside. There are some kids that can't get over the fact that bugs live outside. And not just little kids. The little kids are actually if you volunteered for outdoor lunch, you will know that the little kids are the easier groups to be with outside. So our hope is to know who wants to eat outside and who doesn't, and that way we can put, I believe we can put about 75 people outside at a time right now. And at most grade levels, we run between like 95 and 115 students at a grade level, so that's about 3/4 of the grade level. There is some overlap with some of the lunches, so that wouldn't work every time, but it does give us the opportunity, at least for 3 sessions a day, to have 75 kids outside for lunch. So that's a big deal. It is a big undertaking. Tabitha has been really, really great about it. I feel bad, like I look outside and she's putting up and taking down tents by herself sometimes, but we really do appreciate her doing that. Next thing I want to talk about. So I was sitting at the dinner table about a week or so, and my daughter started talking about this TikTok challenge that's happening at high schools, and all I could think was, I know it's going to happen in school tomorrow.
Oh.
So there's a TikTok challenge right now called Devious Licks that TikTok knew about and left up for 2 weeks before they got all the backlash and decided to take it down, where kids were doing bad things at their school, stealing things, breaking things. I saw at some other high schools in the county that they had broken sinks off the wall, they had broken toilets. Here, our issue was we had 2 of our bathrooms vandalized, and the kids pulled the soap dispensers off the walls and threw them in the toilets. So in the modular, there are no soap dispensers in the boys' bathroom right now. They're on back order because the entire county is reordering soap dispensers. We did catch 2 of the students that were responsible and have met with their parents about that. Next thing I want to say is a very positive one. Classroom instruction has been going really, really well. The kids are doing great in class, and I have to give it up for our teachers. Our teachers are going above and beyond every day. We are asking them to do so much, and they do it every day. And I feel bad because I'm the one asking. But they are, our teachers have been amazing this school year. So, and speaking of that, we have only had, well, now we've had 3 confirmed cases, but the 3rd confirmed case is one that we don't have to report because the student was never symptomatic they were never symptomatic during the time they were in school. So you got 2 letters from me. Those are the only 2 COVID cases that we've had at Groveton this entire year. Some schools have had over 100.
Yeah.
So either, we're in good with the big man, or, we're just lucky. But we have only had 2 cases. And I do think part of that is the mitigation strategies. And again, I'm going to go back to the teachers who are really staying really tight on this with kids, making sure that they're wearing their masks throughout the day. So only 2 cases in the whole school this year. My daughter was on pause for 5 days in middle school, and she wasn't even in close contact. So I just feel like we have been really lucky so far. Because I can't imagine there's anybody that's had less cases than that. The health department. So if there are cases and your children are directed to quarantine, you get that information from the health department. I'm going to say I know the health department is working really hard, but their communication has not been great. We have had issues where the health department will know about a case, and 10 days later they'll direct us to the first case that we had. It was 10 days after before they even directed us to quarantine anybody involved, and those students were in school for those 10 days. So that has been a challenge. Cafeteria. We spoke about the outdoor cafeteria. We do have still the indoor cafeteria, and we have cafeteria hostess positions open. It pays $11 an hour, but we're looking for somebody for 3 hours a day. If you know of any brave souls that are interested, we do have that position open, and we would love to hire that position. The county is also, I know that we're going to have some money to hire other staff. So if you know of anybody interested that would be interested in a classroom monitor position or an instructional assistant position, it would be a one-year only position at this time. But we will have some more of those positions open, especially because we receive Title I funds, so we're kind of at the top of the list for those things. So if you know of anybody out there that needs work that you think would be good to work with our kids, please let us know. I'm going to talk a little bit about testing. Mr. Latham was kind enough to send me all the information because he knew I would not remember. So we have some tests right now here at Groveton that are in progress. Currently, we have the iReady test, and that's math and reading, and that's grades 1 through 6. And that's used as like an academic universal screener to identify areas of concerns for students. It's not graded. It's really diagnostic for our staff to use so that we know where the kids are. The next test that's in progress, that's actually going to officially start next week, is a brand new test, which is just what we need, a brand new test. It's called the Virginia Growth Assessment, the VGA, and that is grades 3rd through 6th. And this is basically like a light version of the SOL, and it's used to determine learning gaps that have been caused by the pandemic. So the VGA is coming up next week. We are not stressing kids out about the VGA. We are not treating this like an SOL because it isn't an SOL. This is an assessment that will help us to understand what they need to be prepared for when the SOL comes. Okay, so if you hear the words VGA, just tell your kids to do their best, and that's that. And then the VKRP is ongoing right now, and that's the Virginia kindergarten and pre-K assessment. My wife is a kindergarten teacher, so she's really hating that right now. But that's an individual, the teacher does an individual assessment with each student in their classroom on literacy, math, and behavior skills. Page 2 of testing. Upcoming testing. We have the SEL screener, that's a 3rd through 6th grade assessment for the fall, and a K through 6th grade assessment in the winter and spring. And this is just a test, this is a new test also. Well, it's a wellness screener to measure social emotional competencies. And so that, like I said, that's a new one. COGAT is 2nd and 3rd grade test this year, typically just a 2nd grade test. Because we weren't able to give it the way we needed to last year, we're doing 2nd and 3rd grade. It's used to identify students that are possible candidates for advanced academics. Naglieri test is a 1st grade test used in a similar fashion. Let's see, what's next? In the 3rd page, upcoming tests. The WIDA Access Test, and that's for all English language learners, K through 6. Some schools give about 30 of those tests. At Groveton, we give over 500. So, because we have over 500 kids at our school that are identified as having a second language spoken in the home. That is how, that's how you're identified for WIDA. Horizons is a division assessment. That's 3rd through 6th grade. That is a prep test for the SOL, and that's a Fairfax County thing, but we are required to give it. And then the standards of learning will be in May. That's 3rd through 6th grade also. We'll talk a lot more about that. Mr. Latham is going to talk about all of this, I think, at the next PTA meeting in great detail. So I'm just giving you kind of the quick, these are the things. And then the last one is the Iowa Algebra Aptitude Test, and that's for 6th graders. And that is for students that may go into 7th grade algebra. So those are the only students, so the students that are in 6th grade advanced math, either in the English or in the Spanish advanced math in 6th grade, they are the students that would take the Iowa Algebra Aptitude Test. All right. Students' rights and responsibilities. You'll be hearing more about this in the upcoming weeks. This is an every year thing. The administrators will be speaking to the students about the students' rights and responsibilities. It is all online now. You won't get a paper book like you have in the past. So we will be sending you the link to that. I know the county has sent it out, but it gets buried in all the county stuff that everybody gets. But trust me, I delete those emails too. So we'll be sending that as part of one of our upcoming newsletters. I'm going to give one last piece of bad news, and then I got two really good news pieces. Our sign update, I was able to speak to Alfredo yesterday, and there has been an issue with the contractor, and they are rebidding the labor on the sign. So he was supposed to send me an update, hopefully by tomorrow. So that means I should have it definitely by 2 weeks from tomorrow. And then the PTA, once we do have that, the PTA will transfer the money and we'll pay for that. But there's been an issue with the contractors. That's the information I was getting. Good news. We have next Wednesday, I believe. Is that right, Anna? Wednesday the 29th?
Yes.
Next Wednesday the 29th, we have a dedication. The Girl Scouts built a free little library that's been, Amy was one of our Girl Scouts that worked on that. Free little library that we're dedicating in honor of Michelle Biltcliffe, who is a teacher that passed away last year. Michelle was a big advocate of literacy. Michelle left us hundreds of books in her office, and her teammates felt like the best use of those books was to give them to kids. I spoke to Anna, and the Girl Scouts have been amazing building this free little library. It's up out there. We'll be dedicating that at 4:30 on the 29th. And last but not least, this is the birthday month of this facility. Somebody said they graduated from here in '76. Is that right?
Yeah.
This building was
It
built,
is.
was opened September 5th, 1972.
Whoa.
So if you think about that, this is the 49th year for this building. So next year we're going to have to go really big, but there will be something in our newsletter, upcoming newsletter, that says, this is the Groveton birthday month. We probably won't get to it till October, but we do want to do like maybe a spirit day for our Groveton birthday month. And next year we really want to celebrate 50 years of this facility. Groveton School has been around for almost the entirety of Fairfax County. Groveton High School is what used to be Bryant High School. A little aside, if you've ever seen the movie Remember the Titans, Groveton High School was one of the schools named in that movie. I have a jersey from that movie in my office, so if you ever wonder what that jersey was, a friend of mine from T.C. Williams said they were getting ready to throw it away and asked if I wanted it. So, so Groveton has a long history in Fairfax County, and we really want to celebrate that next year with 50 years in this building.
Yeah.
And I can take any questions that you have, if that's okay, Steve?
Yep. Does anybody has any questions for Mr. Smarter or for us? You can ask them out loud. If you prefer just to be private, go right ahead.
My daughter is in the state class, and we were notified super late about the quarantine, or the need of quarantine. Is there any way that is avoidable, that we can get that information?
So I want to let you know, I was notified about that at 10 p.m. on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake by the health department.
Right, I'm not pleased with the health.
I wasn't either. I called the region office. We got the health department on the line. Dr. King, who is a great advocate at Groveton Elementary, read them the riot act and told them this can't happen again. Unfortunately, it's happening all over the No, I apologize for that. If I had it to do over again, I think we panicked a little bit because we saw this giant list of kids that needed to quarantine and we didn't know how to do that. And then once reality set in that this can't be right, we had already done it.
Okay, so is there a way that, like, when you send these emails out about the COVID notifications that go to the whole school, can it not go to like the specific class? So we have a better idea on if our children might be affected or not? I got the email and then 2 weeks later I got the phone call that my kid should have been quarantining, so.
Right, so,
There's gotta be some sort of way that it can narrow down a little bit more to the whole school.
so that's not the process right now. And we're not, in the way the process is right now, we're not supposed to identify until we've been told to pause students. I know, trust me, we've been fighting this too. I told you, my daughter was on pause for 5 days and was never identified as a close contact. It's not a great system. I do apologize for that late notice, but I do also want you to know, I go to bed at 10 o'clock, so I didn't see that until 7:45 when you got the phone call. We immediately made those phone calls. And I think in hindsight now we realize we would have been better off not to do it at that time, bring the kids in and then, figure it out and then do it. But it was our understanding, at that time, we thought the health department knew what they were doing, right? Obviously they did. Sorry, I don't have a better. I really don't, but I didn't know that was happening.
Any other question that somebody have?
Anybody else have a question or anything? Well, thank you, Mr. Swager, very much for that. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming. We'll be here for a few more minutes if you have any questions, but thank you very much. Hope to see you at the next meeting. We're going to be doing these on the second Thursday of the month, but we'll be posting about everything. And if you haven't already, join the Facebook page, please. Check out the website, and thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Terminamos. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Good night.